Y'all know the intro song gets me every single time. I mean, is it not a vibe? It is. It's definitely a vibe. Y'all, welcome back to another episode of 1 Billion Brave. I'm your host, Domo Jones. Y'all good? Y'all already know. Y'all know I'm at a 13 because I had my V8. I low key need V8 to endorse me real quick because I drink y'all every day. That's all I'm saying. Yo, welcome to another episode of 1 Billion Brave. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all straight? Y'all good? Today's a great day because the sun is shining and it ain't no cold. I ain't gotta wear my earmuffs. It's an amazing day, is all I'm saying. Great. No complaints. No complaints. All right. So for the newcomers, thank you guys for tuning in. For the old timers, y'all good? What up? What up, Kim Fuck? What up, Kim Fuck? Let's get into the house rules. No profanity. You already know what's up. We ain't doing no profanity on this show. What? Why would we do that? There's so many words in the dictionary we can use. We about to use those joints. Y'all know. Also, we do talk about, yeah, I'm gonna say this first. We do talk about Jesus Christ on this show. We do talk about you already know. What up, though, man? We talk about Jesus Christ on this show. He is the main thing. And he gonna forever and will ever be the main thing. What else is there to talk about? You feel me? What else is there to talk about? That's my dog, and he should be yours too. Is all I'm saying. Kendall, listen. Why you want me to shout you out? Shout out to Kendall Gosley. Ooh, he's in the building. What up, though? Also, no bashing of race, religion, gender, or politics. Not around here. Because we kinfolk. From one blood, he made all the nations. So we family. And tell them that you're invited to the barbecue. And tell them I sent you. What they gonna do? What they gonna do? Exactly. Also, this show is a show about the disabled community, bringing awareness, insight, information. What? How you combine informative and information into one? Dominique, get it together. We just talked about vocabulary words. What we doing? Yes, this show brings awareness, insight, information, and just a level of interest to those that have disabilities, also to those that don't. But it brings awareness and it lets people know that we break the stigma beyond our condition. So y'all know what that means. Get you one of us in your circle. I'm telling you now, get you one of us in your circle. You will thank me later. We are a dope community. Don't get you me in your circle. Hi, Grandma, I love you. Don't get you me in your circle, but get you one of us in your circle. Okay. All right. Also, y'all ready for the last house rule? Cool, because this is one of the most important ones. Y'all got your good earring? Cool. So, this is the very first show that has a hostess with a disability. Wait for it. And that has guests with disabilities, medical conditions, or essential caregivers. Lady, Oprah, and Tyler Perry. Y'all know what's up. Y'all should. If you don't know me by now, listen. Because you already know, Kendall. You got the best. I'm just saying, like, you guys should know me by now. I'm coming to the house, Lady O. I'm hopping over to the house real quick. We ain't even got to do no intros. Nice to meet you. I'm Domo, your Lady O. We got all that out the way. All I need is like a Arizona and a few fruit snacks. We good. Because we got business to talk about. And then I'm going to go across the street real quick to Tyler Perry's house. And then, you know what? It don't even have to be your house, Tyler Perry. We can go to one of your sets. And you got a few to choose from. Hop on over to one of those sets because we got business to take care of. You feel me? Okay. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. When it happens, don't say I never told y'all because I've been saying it. And I got receipts every episode. Lady O, Tyler Perry, I'm coming to the house. Just leave the light on for me or leave the door unlocked because y'all know I'm coming. I don't even want to take nothing. I just want the wisdom. That's it. You welcome. You. It'll be a blessing to meet me. Is all I'm saying. It'll be a blessing to meet me because I got a lot of favor that come behind me. Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. So let's get into the brave heart for this week. The brave heart for this week is, let's go, Gabe. Who is it? Hit me with it. Hit me with it, Gabe. Hit me with it, Gabe. Okay. There we go. At my brain is too big. No, really. Listen, her name is Madison. She has a herniated disc and a shower malfunction. Now, don't ask me what part two is. I don't know. Nevertheless, doesn't. So look how beautiful she is. Ain't she dope? Come on, Madison. I see you doing your big thing. Come on, curls. Listen, you are the Braveheart for this week, and I want to appreciate you. I want to give you your flowers, and I want to say, this life is not easy, but you doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. You the Braveheart. Madison, Madison. All right, so I'm sick of it. Let's get it, Gabe. What we sick of? What we sick of? Oh shoot, what that say? Disability looks different on everyone. Ain't that the truth? It looks different. Don't categorize us. Do not put us in no category that we all look the same. Because we don't. There is physical, there is invisible, there is mental, and there is functional. Or maybe there's not. It doesn't matter. Nevertheless, that's so. There are many different types. And to be honest, let me keep it a buck. Everyone has a disability, whether you see it or not. Why? Because we all have sinned and fallen short. So ain't nobody perfect. We all got something that we got to work on. So the world is full of people that have disabilities because disabilities are limitations and we all fallen short. We have all fallen short. If you live in this world right now, you have fallen short. So thinking not strange. Okay? Mine you could just see. And others you could just see. But we all dealing with something that we got to work on every day to fight to live. You welcome. That was a nugget. Domo, you said something major right there. That was a good. Domo, that was a really good nugget. Because we all falling short. We all have seen and falling short. So everybody got a disability. What? What? Come on. It's the wisdom. Thinking not strange. It's the wisdom for me. Y'all welcome. Y'all welcome. Okay, so let's get into this next guest. Let me tell y'all. My next guest, this is my dog. This is my dog. I love him for life. Like, this is my dog. This is my dog. And I'm going to tell y'all now, because we already said thinking not strange. Thinking not strange, when he comes on, and we're going to be goofy, we're going to be talking, we're going to be laughing, because this is what we do. Michelle, I love you. You already know I'm about to preach. Thinking not strange, okay? So, his name is Tim Stansell. Yeah, he top tier, okay? He's top tier. And I asked him to be on the show because he has a great testimony, a great story. And he definitely has a powerful message to tell everyone. Everyone. This gonna hit everybody. All right? Y'all ready for it? Cool. Put your good ears on. Tim, come on. What?
What's up, Dom?
That's my dog.
Man, you're gonna be right next to Oprah and Tyler, just like you said.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, they gotta have a show like you.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it so much. That's a lot coming from you because you the main dog.
Yes.
You top tier. You top tier.
we top tier.
We talk. Come on. Inclusivity. That's what I'm talking about.
That's
All right,
right.
so let's get into it. So for people that don't know, can you tell us where you're from and the name of your medical condition?
I was raised in Compton, Linwood, California. My
Oh, Linwood.
childhood, and I was my adult life and is in the Inland Empire.
That's
And my medical condition was suspect. It was a heart condition, so I had to receive a pacemaker.
man. All right, so let's get into it. Can you tell us the story, like what happened? Because it didn't happen when you were younger. So could you run us down? Let us know what's up.
You want the whole quick story?
We want the whole story. We ain't got nothing but time.
Oh, okay. Well, I I have been dealing with my first sign. I believe that I have been dealing with a lot of fatigue and I was exhausted. I was tired,
Hmm.
and I was dealing with that for maybe about a year or so. And I would have never in a million years thought that it was related to my heart not receiving oxygen.
Hmm.
So basically, I was driving a car with no oil in it before it blew up. And
Mm.
so, as I was dealing with the fatigue, I just kept thinking, it was part of my grind because I run three businesses. I have probably about 35 to 40 people that I manage on a daily basis. And I just felt like, well, I'm supposed to be fatigued. I'm supposed to be
Right.
tired. I'm
Right.
grinding every day. I run a barbershop, I run a bar, and I run entertainment. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm tired because I'm only sleeping 4, 5, 6 hours a day. Always thinking, always grinding. So I just really assumed that that was why I was fatigued. And that had been going on for about a year, maybe a year plus. I would say probably 7 days prior to my incident happening on March the 1st, I started getting a lot of tingling in my arm.
Hmm.
And once I got all that tingling in my arm, and I would go upstairs in my house and I would have short of breath. I would walk from my garage to end of my front door and I would be short
Hmm.
of breath. And every day my arm kept tingling. So I kept shaking my arm like, man, something's wrong with this. But,
Right.
the biggest mistake that I made is I didn't inform my wife right away.
That's
So
important.
that's important.
It's
So
important.
I was kind of dealing with it, saying maybe I slept wrong, maybe I ate something with the breathing, maybe I had asthma when I was young, so maybe that was coming back. I was looking for all the different reasons on what it was, and that started happening on a Friday. So 4 or 5 days go by. I wake up one Wednesday morning. I tell my wife, I said, "Man, my arm is tingling a lot." And I kept shaking it in front of her, and she was in the kitchen, and she looked at me and she said, "Your arm is tingling that bad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my arm is tingling. Like, it's weird. I don't know what that is."
Hmm.
And at the time, I was watching TV and watching my sports channels.
Yeah.
And as I was sitting there, she saw me shaking my arm, and she came over there and she snatched my phone out of my hand and was like, "Boy, I'm not gonna play with you. You telling me your arm is tingling? We're gonna either go to the doctor or we're gonna call Kaiser." But
Yeah.
as she was saying it, she took the phone and opened up my phone and she got Kaiser on the phone, and the nurse got on the phone, and she told the nurse what was going on. They asked me to get on the phone, so we put it on speaker. And at
Hmm.
that time, I'm still thinking like, okay, well, I'm just finna hear some whatever. Not,
Right.
I'm not feeling bad. I'm just got a tingling, and I'm not, sick. I'm not, sluggish. I'm waiting.
Right.
Everything seems to be fine. It's definitely a silent killer. It's definitely a silent assassin that
Hmm.
we don't know what's going on internally in our body. So after I answer a series of questions from the doctor, they said, "Oh, you need to get him down here right away, within an hour." So that was at probably about 12 o'clock noon. We get down there by 1 o'clock. Uh, the doctor, they run all these tests. They hook me up to an EKG. They start doing blood work.
Hmm.
They start, you know, doing all kind of stroke tests and testing my fingers and my feet and sticking needles in me. Do I feel this? Do I feel that?
Yeah.
And when the doctor looks at the EKG machine, he says, "Man, your heart is pumping at, 31, 32, 33." As we all know or should know, that our hearts should be pumping at 60 to 100 beat.
Wow.
And so mine was pumping at 31, 32. So they hooked me up and he's looking at it on the screen. And as he's looking at this, he's like, "Man, your heart is real low. Like,
Yeah.
there's a problem." But within 5 minutes, they was able to detect that I had a blockage.
Wow.
And I said, "A blockage? What is that?" And they told me that you have an electricity blockage. So I said, "Electricity blockage, explain that to me. I wasn't aware." And he
Hmm.
said, "Well, but everybody has a current electricity in their body, and that connects to their heart and allows the top part of the heart to beat, and it registered down to the bottom, and that's what makes your heart beat.
Right.
And mine wasn't connecting. So she was like, at that time it was the nurse practitioner, and she was like, yeah, you have a blockage in there, and I'm thinking arteries blocked, or
Right.
first thing I'm start thinking is stents, and I'm saying, man, I don't eat recklessly. I'm not a drinker. I sip on some wine, but I'm not a drinker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what is this from? Like, well, how can this have happened? Like, what can I have done to prevent this? That's the first thing I
Mhm.
want to know is, what did I do wrong?
Right.
And at that point, they told me that it was nothing that they could have done to prevent it. It's pretty much the luck of the draw. It's not like, it can happen to you, or you. It can happen to anybody.
Mhm.
And so I was glad to hear that I wasn't reckless. And so as they're sitting there communicating with me, and I was like, well, man, doc, what do I have to do? What can I do not to get a, because at that time he said, well, yeah, we're going to have to do a pacemaker on you. He called a cardiologist in there, another doctor, and they said, yeah, we're going to have to do surgery on you, and you're going to have to get a pacemaker. So all this conversation was going on within 30 minutes. And I'm like, a pacemaker? I'm thinking a
Right.
pacemaker is for people 65, 70 years and up.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not thinking of pacemakers from somebody in their mid 50s. So
Right.
I was like, okay, well, what can I do? Now I realized that what I could do was nothing that I could do to prevent it. So my next question is, what could I have done? What can I do not to get a pacemaker? Because I still don't
Right.
want to get that.
Right.
And so at the time, the doctor said there was nothing you can do to get a pacemaker. And he gave me a quick story and analogy about a car being at the top of the hill and the car not having no gas in it. He said, if your car is at the top of the hill and you don't have no gas in that car, and you put your car in neutral, it's still going to roll down the hill, even if
Right.
it don't have no gas in it. And he said, but what's going to happen when that car gets to the bottom of the hill? And he said, yeah, the car's going to shut down. I said, yeah.
Mhm.
He said, any second, any minute, you can have a massive heart attack and die. And I'm
Wow.
like, man, I looked at him because it really got real with me at that point, right? And
Yeah.
and so I said, wow, really? He was like, yeah, I hate to be so blunt, but it can happen at any time. Like, how do you feel? I said, I feel fine. Like, I'm talking to him, I'm chilling, and, I'm asking a question. My wife is there, we're asking questions. And so time proceeds, and he's taking more tests. They start taking some blood tests. And they did say, okay, well, we're in the, fast forward, we're in the doctor's, we're at the hospital. We want to get you some more tests. But in order to get the results back, you have to go over to the Kaiser around the corner, which is on Iris, because here
Mhm.
at the hospital, we're not able to get our results back for a couple of weeks. So why
Mhm.
don't you go over to there and go to ER? Once you go to ER, they'll go ahead and do the tests, and I'll call
You get
over there,
back.
and yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get our results back right away. So I go downstairs, I get in the car, my phone rang as I leave the hospital. I'm going into the car, getting in my car, and the nurse come down and my wife, and they called me on the phone, and they said, Mr. Stansell, you need to come back upstairs. And so I said, what's going on? They said, we can't let you leave the hospital. We have to transport you to the other Kaiser by ambulance. And so at
Mhm.
that point, it got real, real for me.
Right.
And so at that point, I start, praying to God. I started being scared, even though I'm faithful and I believe, but I was just scared. And I'm
Yeah.
just
Naturally.
praying. Yeah. And I'm just praying. I'm saying, man, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, God, what is this? Like, what's going on? What is it that, so what's, and this, I'm saying this to myself as I'm walking in the hospital, I'm
Yeah.
going up the elevator, and I'm just like, God, just keep me, just make sure that this is not something that's overwhelming that we can't correct. So I
Mhm.
get back upstairs, the paramedics are up there, they hook me back up to the EKG machine and start running more tests. The paramedics look at the doctor and say, yeah, we're getting the same signs you're getting, which is 32, 33 heartbeat. And they gave me some medication, and the medication, we're sitting there, they're talking, they're going back and forth, and the medication didn't take my heart up to where they thought it was going to take it to. So at
Mm.
that point, I'm thinking, okay, the medication is not working. You call me back into the hospital to get me transported by ambulance. Mind you, the hospital is only 7 minutes away.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, wow. So that, they obviously, don't trust my condition to go to the hospital on my
Mhm.
own. And so I said, okay, well, they taking the test and everything. He said, look, doctor, we running the same thing as 32, 33%. They go, Mr. Stansell, we're going to have to transport you by ambulance, and we're going to have to admit you into the hospital. And at that point, I'm just like, whoa, okay, this is more serious than I'm thinking because I've never
Right.
been ever been hospitalized. I've never been in an ambulance. So I'm thinking, okay, this is for real, real, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting scared
Nervous, right.
and I'm nervous and I'm like, wow, this is about to be a challenge for me in my life. I'm thinking of
Yeah.
all the things that can happen and how I'm going to deal with things that can happen. And in all honesty, I really started saying to myself, like, if there is a condition that I have, how can I be a trooper and come up out of this? So I'm
Wow.
already starting to think positive, even though I don't know what it's going to be. But I said,
Yeah.
hey, if this thing happens and something happens to me and I'm wheelchaired or I have to be in a bed or whatever, what I'm not going to do is be a Debbie Downer. I just had to make sure that, okay, I'm putting my mindset right at that time, even though I'm scared.
Right.
And I get into the ambulance. They transport me over there. I'm starting to joke with the ambulance drivers. I'm starting to joke with the caregivers in the ambulance,
Yeah.
and
That's what we do. That's what
yeah,
we do.
I'm just trying to make it fun at this point because
Yeah.
at this point I realize that it is 1,000% fully in God's hands.
Right.
And I've always pride myself on being a faithful dude and just always believing. I take chances, I take risks, and I always be like, God got me. Any situation I'm in, God got me. I ain't worried
Yeah.
about what's gonna happen. God has got this final answer.
Period.
And I've
Right.
lived, I've always lived that life since I was a kid, since I was a boy, since I was a young grown man. I'll be like, any scenario, I don't care if it was business, money,
Hmm.
challenges in life, I always be like, hey, God is gonna work it out. Whatever He wants for me is gonna happen.
Right.
And so
Period.
at that point, I just started, moving into that vein of just being a little bit more positive. I got the fear started going away, and my trust and belief just really started rising on. Okay, I'm just gonna really believe this situation is gonna be how it needs to be. What is God
Yeah.
trying to tell me? So we get to the hospital. They admit me into a room. Doctor comes into the room. He starts explaining to me, "Hey, we're gonna have to do an emergency surgery on you. I see you're gonna have to get a pacemaker." He said, "Let me explain to you what's going on with your heart." So he
Hmm.
explained to me about the electricity in my heart, and it's not connecting it's not igniting my heart. The electricity in your body has to
It's not
ignite your
pumping.
heart to pump.
Right.
And so I always, I always thought the electricity. I didn't really realize we had electricity in our body. I
Okay.
said, yeah. So I said, okay, well, this electricity in my body. So I'm thinking when I shake somebody's hand, it's, we shock each other. That's pretty much what it was, the carpet. And now I realized, man, all these years, that's the electricity in our
It's
body.
that electricity. Got
Yeah.
it, man.
So he explains to me what it is. He said, hey, we're going to have to cut you open. And he showed me the pacemaker. He's saying, this pacemaker, we got these wires. We're going to have to attach it to your arteries.
Hmm.
And I'm going to put a little screw on these wires. And we're going to attach this screw to the back of the arteries, to these wires. And I'm listening to all that. And I'm saying, man, they're going into my heart. They're going into my arteries like this,
This is
and
crazy.
yeah, and so this is like real crazy. I'm like, man, out of nowhere. It's not like I planned. It was planned. It's not like I knew I had a heart condition. Not like you
Right.
could really mentally prepare for this. This is a immediate information that's happened from early morning or late morning to the time I'm in here. And
Yeah.
so he says that he explained to me exactly how that had to happen. And then I go, okay. He says, if I go into your heart, I have to tell you the good thing. I've done a lot of pacemakers. I also have to tell you the bad thing. The bad side is that, one, you got to sign these papers because it could be tragic. And why it could be
Hmm.
tragic is because if I go into your heart and I start attaching these arteries, if I hit your if I hit your lungs, I could puncture your lungs. And if I hit your heart, it could be fatal. So this doctor tells me the word fatal to my face right before he gets ready to, before they do the surgery. And I'm looking at this doctor like, man, this dude is human. Like he's a
Right.
regular man. Like it's not
Regular.
like, he cannot hit my heart. It's not like, it can't be a situation.
It is a possibility.
It's
Like
a
for real.
very much possibility. I don't care how best of the cardiologist you are. I just feel like, man, this can really happen. And then I kicked in again and went into a silent prayer and just like, God, just protect this man's hand and do
Yeah.
your will on my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let me move the way you need me to move. So as he told me that, he said, okay, we're gonna admit you into this room. and we're gonna prepare for surgery tomorrow. So
Mhm.
at that time, I got real nervous, and I said, anything can happen. I understand I'm a faithful person. I know God is it has a plan and has a death date for everybody, and I know
Right.
going home is glory. So it's not a bad situation. And I said, well, I tell my wife, I said, look, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
I'm prepared for this thing to be what it's gonna be. I said, I need you to make some phone calls,
Yeah.
and I said, I need you to call my brothers. I said, I need you to call my daughters. I need you to call my business people, and I need
Mhm.
you to call my pastor. And I said, let them know what's going on, and we'll go from there. So my wife, she made the phone calls. I'm sitting in there, and as I'm sitting in there, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna go ahead and just pray and just think about what's going on. My wife is
Right.
making calls. I'm sitting up in that room, just kind of staring around.
Mhm.
So then my family starts coming up there, and about an hour later, then the doctor comes back into the room about an hour and a half later. And he said, Mr. Stansell, the medication is not working on your heart. Um, and I'm looking at him, and he says, we're going to have to admit you to ICU. And I said, whoa. I said, man, I
There's so
go
much
from,
happening, right?
there's so much happening. I go from the couch to the hospital
The
to no,
ICU.
to no, no, you got to get transferred in the ambulance
Hold
to
on.
now you got to get admitted to now you got to go to ICU. I'm like, man, this is just
Hold
one
on.
thing after another. I said, this is a serious whirlwind for me, right?
For
And
real.
so I accepted the challenge, and I just went into a real positive mindset. And I was just like, okay, this is what it is. And, let's go, and,
Yeah.
so my family started coming up there, and everybody's worried and stuff. And, I knew that I had to be strong because I knew my daughters, they were breaking down. They were looking, pitiful. And I was like, man, I gotta be strong because if everybody see me worried and scared, then
It's gonna ignite.
it's
Yo.
going down the whole room. And so I got myself together. I stayed positive. My pastor came and saw me and prayed with me, and we talked for a minute, and then later on, I laid there and just chilled. And the next morning, they rolled me into surgery. They said your surgery is going to be about 6 o'clock that evening.
Mhm.
And so I get up the next morning. The main doctor, Dr. Brand, which is one of the top cardiologists at Kaiser, I find out. He comes in there and he tells me exactly what's going to happen, how we got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, cool. So I'm thinking my surgery is going to be at 2 o'clock. I mean, at 6 o'clock. So
Yeah.
he's come back. He come in the room about 9:30, and then he comes back into the room about 11 and say, hey, we got a spot for you. We're going to roll you into surgery at 2 o'clock. And
Dang.
I said, man, okay. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, man, I am really about to go in here
You
and have
about to go in
surgery like
full
this.
surgery, right?
I'm like, it's kind of cool because I was like, man, I've never experienced it before, but it was like, okay, I just felt good about it. At that point, I
Yeah.
really felt like, because I always hear the cliche, slow down, Tim, slow down, Tim. Don't let you get slowed down by something else, and that's all I kept hearing was those people in my ear saying, I said, God has a way of shutting you down. Don't let the
You
body
did.
shut don't let the body shut you down. I ignored that for years. And so, man, God said, it's time for you to shut it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really believe that. I believe I was moving too much and grinding too much. I believe that I was carrying a lot on my plate. And I believe that God had to shut it down. I believe that
Yeah.
was his call for me. And he knew that I was going to do goodwill with the testimony. And so I went
Exactly.
into the surgery, and I laid in the bed. I'm looking at all these doctors with all these plastic clothes on. I'm looking at these nurses and stuff. And I'm saying, man, this is real surgery, right?
Real life.
This is real life surgery. And I'm laying on the bed. I'm looking at all these bright lights and stuff over my head. I look at the clock, and at the time, the clock said 2:05.
Mhm.
And I said, man, I started praying to God. I said, God, just allow my life to be extended. Just let me see lights again. Let me see that clock say a different time than 2:05.
Right.
Because if I wake up, I knew they was gonna put that anesthesia in me. And if I wake up, I said, I know that the surgery was good because in my mind, remember, he told me with a mistake, it could be fatal. So
Right.
I never in my life wanted to see lights so bad again. I never wanted to
Right.
see a clock so
A
bad
clock
again.
change.
So the anesthesia doctor came in and said, hey, I'm going to put this anesthesia in your IV. You're going to be knocked out in a second. And I looked at that clock, and like I said, it was 2:05. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. As I'm waking up, he was still doing surgery. He was putting the stitches in me, and I felt it on my chest. I felt them pulling, but the pain wasn't there because it was the anesthesia, but I was awake. And I looked at that clock and I saw them lights and it said 4:17. And I said, man, God, what kind of soldier do you need me to be? Like I
Okay.
sit up here and ask you these questions and said, what do you need me to do? What is my call for what, how do
Right.
you want me to move? Like what message are you trying to get to me? And let me
Real.
just walk the walk that I need to walk with you. And so, at that point in time, man, we went into they put me into a recovery room. And the doctors was telling me, the nurse said, I'm going to take him back down to ICU to his regular room. And the doctor, they closed the curtains, but they didn't close the door. And the doctor said, no, he can't leave to the emergency room right now. He has to stay here because
Yeah.
his heart. He just got out of surgery. His blood pressure is so high. If we move him right now, he can easily stroke out.
Mhm.
And I said,
Mhm.
wow, what another. I mean, I had 5 different socks in the face from the time I
Man.
found this out to 5 different things that happened. And, man, God had a different will for me. And I truly believe that my wife was my angel because if I wasn't going to go to the doctor.
Right.
I was going to wait till Monday because I had my regular yearly checkup on Monday. This happened on Wednesday. I was like, I'll just go on Monday. I'll go when it's time, when my doctor's appointment. And then I'll ask them, hey, I'm breathing funny. Hey, my arm is
Right. What's
tingling.
going on?
Just wait till
Right.
that time. But, when my wife snatched my phone, I just believe that her discernment is just led her to do what she did and get me on that phone with that doctor. And here they telling me to come down there within an hour. And, I just believe that was a total message from God, that he just really wanted to slow me down and have
Yeah.
a conversation with me and figure out, I need to figure out exactly what's my movement. And
Right.
I've been working on that ever since. That my ministry as a barber, I tell my story to everybody in my chair. I used to talk sports and I used to talk business, and I still do. But man,
Main thing.
I am
Right.
preaching to men every single day. At my bar, I'm talking to dudes. I'm just carrying this testimony everywhere I go. And so I just believe that my true ministry is, I've been a promoter for years, that I'm going to continue to promote to men, lead them to the gospel, lead people to the gospel, because I realize that that's the answer. And then
Mhm.
also I want to be able to tell men my ministry, what happened, because I ignored it.
Right.
I totally ignored the situation. I knew that I had a problem. I
Yeah.
really knew that, and I cowered out. I feel like I just didn't want to know what that answer was because I knew when my arm was tingling, it was a problem. And
Right.
I gave a pass to my tired and being exhausted because I'm a grinder. So I gave that a pass. But what I didn't give a pass to was that tingling in my arm and walking up the stairs, not being able to breathe and feeling like I walked around the block. I knew that
Mhm.
first, second day something's wrong.
Right. Right.
But hard headed, chasing the dollar, chasing the grind, feeling like, oh man, I got to get it. I can't miss my appointments. I can't not be there for my
Right.
business. And here it is. I'm about to cause a catastrophe in my family's life because I'm not listening to my body.
That's
And, you know
crazy.
what I mean? And not going to the doctor like I should have. And I do go, but I didn't go with those signs. I just believed it was going to go away and it was going
Right.
to be, a situation that I'll get over. But no, it wasn't that. So
How important do
yeah,
first I want to say hi to Natasha, I love you. My sister Jackie, I love you. And Retrice, I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. So there's a few things that you said that was really key. First is the fact that you kept your faith so strong despite what was going on, because everything was hitting it. And I think that's very key for people that's dealing with stuff. If you serve the God that we serve, you already know the outcome is always going to be His will, no matter what. Period. That's just what it is. And I think that's amazing how you kept strong for your family, because you didn't want them to see you break down. You had to be strong for them. I think that was like super amazing. But I want to get on the topic of not listening to your body, because as men, you guys grind, like that's it. I can figure out, yeah, whatever. I don't like going to the doctor. So how important is it for men specifically to listen to their bodies based on your story?
It's extremely important because we don't have the answers. A lot of times we go to the doctor. I think what it is sometimes we kind of hear the same things. The cliche: lose weight, stop
Yeah.
eating, stop drinking, stop smoking, exercise. You kind of hear the same thing. Eat better, watch your intake, and we don't. We don't want to hear the same thing,
Yeah.
and it's not that those things are not valid, but I was never told to check my heart. I've never been said get your EKG and check your heart. And
Mhm.
so, I strongly believe that now. If I say this to men all the time, hey, if you got a headache and you take a Tylenol and that headache is still there, go to the doctor.
Also,
It should be gone that day. It shouldn't be there for 2 and 3 days. If you got a
right.
stomach ache and you got diarrhea or you got cramps or something going on internally, it could be your appendix. It could be something going on, stomach poison, it could be all food. It could be anything. And this is going on for 2 and 3 days. Go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Like it just cannot be us trying to figure it out. We can't figure
Right.
it out. There's too many things that's going on in our bodies, and we don't know what that is. And that was
Mhm.
happening with me all along. This is going on, and I'm here. I'm at the last few minutes, days of a massive heart attack, and I don't have any heart conditions. I've never been checked for my EKG like that. So,
Right.
you have to listen to your body. We pay for this insurance. Go. Take the time out and
Ooh.
go. Just like we take the time out to do everything else, we have to take the time out to go and listen to our bodies and take the time to check on it and go ahead and miss those appointments, miss that money, miss that day of
Yeah.
work.
It's all good.
Get yourself right.
Get yourself right. And shout out to Donita. Donita, you a real one, okay? You are a real one for getting him in check. Put down the doggone phone. I'm sick of this.
Yeah, that's
Enough's
exactly how
enough.
she did it. That's exactly how she did it. And I think
My
that it was all
goodness.
I think it was all a plan from God. I really do. I just feel like she was there. I was being hard headed. I wasn't listening. I wasn't gonna go.
Yeah.
And as they always say, you find a wife, you find a good thing. And I do believe
And
that was my
favor.
angel. Yeah, in major
Period.
favor. And her being the
Period.
God fearing woman that she is, I felt like that was angel hovering over me at that time. Definitely.
Hands down. Hands
Hands
down.
down.
Jew, I
Hands
see you. Love you, Jew.
down.
Okay, so we were talking yesterday about this event that's coming up that you are orchestrating. You gotta let us know what's up. You gotta let us know.
Which one? I got several events coming up.
With the doctors, with the
Oh, with
doctors.
the doctors. Okay, yeah. So I have a platform of people that I know and doctors and nurses and preachers and hustlers and business people. I got it all. I could touch anybody. And so I knew that again, as me being a promoter and I knew I had a platform that people listened to me, and I didn't want to take that platform for granted of just having events and parties and concerts and things like that. I said, man, I gotta use this platform for the greater good.
Right.
I'm on a mission. Like I said, I'm on a mission to lead people to the gospel. So I promote the remnant all the time.
Remnant.
And oh yeah, I got it. I mean, Pastor Kendall, that's my guy.
Thank
He's
you.
he's an amazing pastor. So I got to get people to hear this man and listen to
Yeah.
how he moves and moves in people's lives. And so I said, I got to use this platform for these type of things. And
Yeah.
and since I do have everybody's ear, um, I called on a couple of favors with some friends, and one of my brothers, he's a doctor. He has an office in Victorville. He has an office in L.A. Nutritionist, diabetes, blood pressure, you name it. He's bringing all these black doctors and nurses, and I'm gonna give a huge party. I'm gonna give a black women's and a black people's
Period.
party on
Period.
June the 7th
June
at my
7th.
at Raquel's from 6:30 at night to 9 o'clock at night. And I'm
Period.
gonna have a platform with all these different doctors and these nurses, these nutritionists, and we are really gonna dig deep and talk about all these different things about black health and about things that we don't do, things that we should do, things that we're not listening to, things that we're not paying attention to, how often we should go, what should we do when this
Yeah.
happens, how should we, eat, all the different things that we just don't do. So my plan is to pack it out like I do any other event. Um,
Period.
and have a platform of all these different doctors and nurses and nutritionists, and sit there and have a free forum of all the questions that people need to ask, all the concerns. And I'll have a few people like myself that has a story to tell and let people know
Mhm.
how quick this can happen overnight.
Right.
Anybody can be touched. You know what I mean? You
Anybody.
know, praying for Jamie Foxx, what he's going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This man got multi millions, but here it is. You know, he's laying there in a situation where anybody can be touched. I've never felt like I couldn't be touched, but I really felt like nothing could happen to me because I've
Right.
never been hospitalized. And
Yeah.
so this thing on June 7th is the start of a movement that I want to do, and I just want two of my big things is talking to men about Black health, about their health, and also continuing to lead men to the gospel.
Period.
Those
That's
are
it.
my two missions. Those are the two things that I favor, that I look forward to do, and that I do every day. You know.
I love that. I
Yeah.
think that's so important. Gabe, could you put June 7th at Raquel's 6 to 9? Could you put that, please? Thank you. I think that's so important for Black men, the Black community, but specifically Black men, to learn and listen about this. And I think it's even more dope because they have a Black man and Black doctors that this is what we do. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I'm speaking, we speaking each other's language because I've been there. And
Yep.
not only do I been there, I do this for a living. And
Exactly.
I think that's super. Thank you, Gabe. I think that's super, super dope. If everyone and anyone is available, it don't matter if you're not available, make yourself available on June 7th at Raquel's Jazz Lounge, 6:30. Is it 6:30 or 6 to 9?
6:30 to 9.
6:30 to 9. Boom. Okay, so being that we talking about Raquel's, you gotta let the people know what you do because you a businessman. You feel me? All of it. We want to know all of it.
Yeah, I do. I'm hosting my 30-year anniversary with the latest barbershop. It's in Rancho Cucamonga.
Whoop, whoop.
I've been a barber for 35 years. I've been having the shop for 30 years. So I'm having a big event this year on November the 5th. From the barber chair, I've executed multiple businesses. One is in the promotion entertainment game. I do concerts. I do big events. I host them all around the Inland Empire. As a promoter, we all would always want to have, opportunity to own our own spot.
Right.
And so once I was able to own a bar and get in that position, I bought the bar 9 years ago, 9 years ago. And so I own Raquel's Jazz Lounge. That's been up and running for about 9 years now. And then I have Upscale Entertainment. We just host events and things all over the county. I got a huge gospel fest coming up September the 15th at the Ontario Convention Center with Ty Tribbett, Israel Houghton, and we're looking to put a couple of people on that show.
Y'all gotta be
Um,
ready.
I also just landed a big deal at the Canyon. I'm getting ready to do Eric Benet in about 2-3 weeks.
What?
Yeah, that's going to actually it's already set. It's on May the 5th at the Canyon, and this Canyon is a concert hall that I've been trying to get my hands on, and man, God just put me in position
Open
and
up that door. Let's go.
put my team in position, and we met with the owner, and next thing we know, here we got a quick show with Eric Benet coming up
Let's
on
go.
Eric the 5th. So, I mean, on May the 5th. So, yeah, from the barber chair, I do everything because being a barber, you touch all walks of life. You know what I mean? I touch every type of man out there. And
And
I mean,
females.
and females. I got a
Yeah.
lot of female customers, and touching all these people, man, I'm able to touch into their lives, find out what they do, and network with them. And it's just been an ongoing situation. And I'm just so thankful for the fact that I'm in these positions. And in these positions, I am not sharing this gospel. I'm not sharing how good God has been in my life. And I feel good when I talk about that because yeah, I was out there for a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
And so never been out there in a bad way, like, horrible, but I was a
Right.
man. And, I just, when people see the change in my life, it's funny because it's not for them. It makes me feel so good that I was able to capture myself
Right.
and really make a change for myself.
That's
That, that,
good.
that's so, that's so profound for me because I loved what I was doing. I was
Yeah.
cool. I wasn't I didn't harm and I didn't hurt people and I wasn't no robber or no jacker, but man, I was a ladies guy and
Yeah.
I did my dirt here and there and I was hustling and I just always thought like, man, this was a good life. But
Right.
maybe I don't knock nobody that's in that life. I just say that, man, this other side is
It's a
beautiful.
better. It's better.
It's a whole different feeling.
Top tier.
It's a whole different situation. And
For
so
real.
I realized that my responsibility and my platform, I got to use it for the greater good. It can't just be for what we do. You know what I mean? What I do is what I do now. That's my entertainment.
Yeah.
But in entertainment, hey, I'm ending my events with the gospel. I'm starting my events with the gospel. You know what I mean? My boy had a big old 25th anniversary at his wedding, and I told the band, I said, "Hey man, we're gonna end this party on gospel." And I tell you,
Okay.
it was a regular party, but the last 5 songs was we was in there praising at a regular
Okay.
party. So I just love the fact that one, I can do that, and learning that from my pastor, he's taught me that anywhere you at, you can have the gospel. Anything you doing, you can have the gospel. So, hey, with what I do in my life, I just always implement the gospel, and I sit
Oh,
there and
for
continue to
real.
pride myself on that. I love it. So,
You know how many worship
yeah.
experiences been at the Raquel's Jazz Lounge?
Man,
Listen, you know how many praise breaks there's been at the
Oh
Raquel's Jazz
man,
Lounge?
hey, I see it all the time, man. We got a whole
Yeah.
lot of people that Raquel that be snooping up online listening to PK.
Period. Period.
They ear hustling from afar because they kind of like, oh man, I didn't know you could be cool and love God. I didn't know
And
you could
still
be
love
cool and
God.
still hang out and do what we do and
Right.
still, you know what I mean? So I like the
I feel
fact that
us.
I like the fact that people see me in that light, but I also like the fact that they see me in the other light.
Right.
You
I
know what I
love it.
mean? Yeah, it's a cool
I love
thing.
it. Yo, thank you, Tim, so much for gracing the
Yeah,
stage. I do appreciate it. I thank you for taking your time out and being vulnerable and sharing your story and letting people know like what's really good. Learn your body, but also listen. And if you're married, listen to your wife because she knows. Okay,
yeah.
listen to your wife and
And
know and
when
listen to your body.
and wives when the men are feeling a certain way, wives gotta do what Danita did. And what she did is she didn't say, okay, you go ahead and go to the doctor on Monday. Don't say, okay, well, if you maybe you
Don't
know your
wait.
body, so you'll go tomorrow. No, no, wives gotta step in. That's why we married you. It's to
Right.
cover us. You know what I mean?
Good.
So
Good.
wives got to step in and force that situation also. They can't just sit back and let that man be in control.
Period.
Yeah,
Period. That's your job.
it's your
Take care.
job.
For sure, for sure. Thank you again
Man,
so much.
thank you so much.
Listen, I
I
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Gabe's gonna put you in the back. I'm gonna end the show and I'm gonna see you in a few. Love you.
Love you too. Peace out.
Peace out. I told y'all. Y'all gonna get it one day. Y'all gonna get it. I told y'all. Tim is my guy. He's so dope. Wasn't his story amazing? Like powerful, top tier. Men, listen to your bodies. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, you heard it. Listen to your bodies, and if you are married, wives, take that man to the hospital. Cause if he feel a little, say, man, get up. We about to go. Okay. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I definitely appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. I'm gonna say it every single episode because I appreciate it's the little things for me. It's little things for me. Let's get into these church announcements. All right, so 2 church announcements. One, next Thursday. Y'all should know by now we changed our shows to Thursday. Next Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We live. We up in here in living color. Mm. Y'all see the shoulder? Okay. Because I still got it. That's all I'm going to say. I still got it. Also, if you have a disability or medical condition, or you are an essential caregiver and you want to be a guest on the show, holla at me. Now, if you have a elbow pain or you got a paper cut, ma'am, sir, go on about your business. Okay? Please. We appreciate it. Go and put some Neosporin in that thing and go on about your business. I want people on this show that deal with stuff, real stuff, because we dealing with a real life. Okay? For real, for real. So if you want to be a guest on the show, if you have a medical condition or disability and or you are a essential caregiver, holla at me, let me know. Y'all see how the show run? Okay? We in there like swimwear. That's all I'm saying. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Next Thursday, we live and in living color. Gabe, you already know what to do. Y'all look, don't log off because y'all gotta see the sponsors. Y'all know. All right, we in here. We out here. We up there. We down there. Gabe, get me out of here. Love y'all.